Testing. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihi al-kareem. Amma ba'd. I'm also realizing the class has already been very long. So let us just review just the key main points, and then the next few weeks we'll make class more longer and more heavier. So the first point again is that we are in the second half of the address to Bani Israel, as it's listed at the bottom part of the first page of your syllabus. And in the first part, Allah was addressing them directly and us indirectly, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us about them. Right here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us right from the very first word in ayah 75. أَفَتَطْمَعُونَ. Do you wish, or do you still wish, or do you still imagine? And from there, the point that we're making here is that the whole course is going to be discussing how do people behave when they believe, how do people behave when they reject. And so what is the recurring point for these 5 wrong behaviors with revelation? That the core is that they're not believing, they're rejecting. Okay. So one wrong way people behave is that they change the word of Allah. Okay. Think about how serious that is, to change the word of Allah. We said that in our community at this moment in time, that does not seem to be an issue in terms of us. The second is they withhold knowledge. Again, don't confuse this with using wisdom when you're speaking. Those are 2 different things. Withholding knowledge, especially knowledge that can be used against you. Okay. So here you have to speak with wisdom. These are people who are intentionally withholding knowledge because they don't want it to be used against them, which means that they don't realize that Allah knows everything that they're doing. Number 3 is they speak out of conjecture, out of wishful thinking. Okay. This is something that we have to be very, very cautious about when we are speaking about our deen. How do you cure this problem? Sorry?
Believe in good deeds.
So, believe and do right. Yeah, believe and do right. And in terms of our sources, you get to know them better and better and better. Right? That's why you have these courses, to know the material. And what you'll find out more often than not is when you're speaking something good, you're going to find it in the text anyway. Right? If you're speaking something bad, you're probably not going to find it. If you're speaking something healthy and upright, you're going to find that in our material. And if you're speaking something corrupt, you're probably not going to find very much support for it, generally speaking. Okay, and then the next point is the people who actually make up something and they say that this is from Allah. That's another huge, huge thing. You don't have that problem very much in our community. You do have this problem in other Muslim communities when the religious authority figure is not really trained in anything, but you just trust him, and then that person just gives all kinds of random rulings. And then the 5th point is when you make a claim and you don't back it up. So if someone is making some stance, someone's telling you Islam says you have to do such and such, you have perfect right to ask for proof. Okay? That is your right. And in some cases, that might be your obligation. Okay? That if someone tells you, okay, you have to go run or you have to go fight, then you're perfectly reasonable in asking for proof. Okay? So what else are we saying? That as you have this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to keep gaining knowledge, but you cannot stop using your mind. You have to keep using your mind to evaluate all these things. But no matter what, if you feel that you are doing everything wrong, you can't give up hope. You have to still keep doing good. Right? No matter how many things you're doing wrong, you still do good. And we talked about this before in the last 2 classes, that what do you do if you commit a sin? As soon as you can, you follow it up with a good deed. Okay? Whatever your sin is, follow it up with a good deed. You don't want the sin to become consecutive sins, because then it's harder to break that practice. And we'll be revisiting that point. And the starting point of the discussion, the point that I just left out, was essentially this core issue of what do you wish? What do you wish for? We said that it's innate in our nature as Muslims that we wish everybody would be Muslim. Okay? All right? I mean, that's a statement of goodness. We wish everybody would have a good life. Okay? That's just part of being human. In our case, it's just part of being Muslim, that you wish good for everyone. But the real question is, okay, how much are you actually doing? And so the exercise we did at the beginning of class was for you to look at your day. How did you spend your day? And then honestly discussing with yourself, okay, the way I spent my day today, if I spent 7 days a week, 365 days a year that same way, what will that give me in 5 years? What will that give me in 10 years? What will that give me in 30 years? And ultimately, what will that give me on the day of judgment? This is something that each and every one of us has to do on a regular basis. It's not a fun thing to do because, like I said, when I do this, I just feel like I haven't accomplished anything. Right. I've spent a whole lot of time just on Facebook, but I haven't done anything in terms of Deen and whatnot. But the point is that we wish one thing, but our actions reveal what we really want. Okay. And this is also an introduction to what we're going to be seeing in the next few weeks, the relationship between belief and action.
So if you're not getting closer to God every day, something is wrong.
Well, essentially, yes. But the way we're phrasing it is look at the actions that you're doing. Would those actions bring you closer to God? Okay. Just honestly, the way I spent my day today, should the way I spent my day today bring me closer to God? And if not, then the next question is, what do I need to change?
But you have to have an identity. You have to take vows. I cannot lie. I cannot cheat.
Well, that part we'll talk about. Yeah. Because here we're going to have steps to go through, inshallah. Yeah. What steps we need to go through. Okay, so just to confirm, starting next week, inshallah, we're going to start at 7 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. Inshallah, that should be easy for everyone. Of course, chances are we're all going to arrive late anyway. No, I'm kidding. Inshallah, okay. Well, we'll start at 7 p.m. and we'll go to more or less around 8:30. And with that, any last questions about anything we've covered so far? Okay. Over the course of your lifetime, inshallah, or to try, inshallah. Inshallah, the real inshallah, not the other inshallah we were talking about. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. And may each and every one of you stay warm. May Allah reward you all for your time and your participation. And we'll see you inshallah next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.